Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be another researched haunting locations type of video. It is again coming from this Life magazine, the world's most haunted places. Today we're going to be going into what they call the Psycho House, which is Ed Gein's, I hope I'm saying his name right, Ed Gein's farm. So let's just go right into this video. This is a picture of the farm itself. This is a picture of Ed Gein, and this is a picture of the kitchen. Look at how gross it is. Oh my god, my voice. I'm sorry, I'm sick. Look at how messy the kitchen is, and keep that in mind. Top picture was his mom's room. These bottom three pictures are from the movies that have been created based on this real life story. So I'm just going to quickly read this. It is a little bit longer, so I'm going to try to get through it very quickly. It's titled The Psycho House, Ed Gein's Farm. Somewhere in the Plainfield, Wisconsin cemetery lies an unmarked grave belonging to the man who, thanks to his Hollywood influence, may be America's most infamous serial killer. In the same burial ground lies what remains of the woman he dug up in the 1950s and turned into a perverse variety of handicrafts. Not surprisingly, the place is said to be haunted by the restless soul of one of the fiend's victims, unnamed in death as in life, prowling the lonely graves. In November 1957, Plainfield was shaken to its core after 58-year-old Bernice Warden, owner of the local hardware store, disappeared. Her son told the local sheriff that he'd found blood in the store and that a 51-year-old local handyman named Ed Gein had recently come in looking for antifreeze. Chasing Gein down to the ramshackle, isolated farmhouse where the odd man had lived alone since the death of his mother, the sheriff found Warden hanging by her feet, decapitated and eviscerated in the shed. But that was only the beginning of the horror. In the garage-strewn house, law enforcement officers found chairs reupholstered with fatty human skin, a soup bowl made from a human skull, a shade pole made of lips, masks made from human faces, a belt made of female nipples, a vest made from a female torso, embalming supplies, and anatomy books and detective magazines that get read by kerosene lamps. I'm not very good at pronouncing words that I don't know, so if I'm butchering words, I'm terribly sorry. There were also human heads, one belonging to Mary Hogan, who had run a Plainfield tavern and had mysteriously disappeared in 1954. In the end, the remains of 11 women were discovered in the house. 2 of them, Gein claimed to have shot to death. 9 had been, he said, unearthed from local graves. Many of them had been tanned as with taxidermy, their flesh used by Gein as garments. Like, how disgusting. The only immaculate part of the dwelling was the nailed-shut room that belonged to Gein's mother, Augusta. The fanatically religious woman had subjected her unstable son to ceaseless rants about the evils of women. Her alcoholic husband, George, died in 1940, followed by Gein's brother, Henry, under mysterious circumstances in 1944, leaving Gein to share the house with his mommy, the love of his life. But when Augusta too died in 1945, Gein found himself alone. Well, almost. The necrophiliac bachelor started digging up graves using the remains of female bodies for company. He dressed in women's clothes, some fashioned from corpses, wishing that he had been born a woman. Gein's oblivious neighbors found him mostly harmless. Ed Gein babysat for me once for about an hour, local resident Mrs. George Foster told Life. Just sat there, ate peaches, and watched TV. Locals did, however, acknowledge that he was odd. He talked obsessively, for instance, about crime and women. Former girlfriend Adeline Watkins said, "We discussed every murder we heard about." Eddie explained the mistakes the murderer made. Declared insane in 1958, Gein died of cancer at age 77 in Mendota Mental Health Institute, but his perverse legacy endures, have inspired some of the greatest horror films ever made, among them The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Silence of the Lambs, and a little-known classic called Deranged. But the most enduring product of the Gein legend began in 1959 when writer Robert Bloch published a potboiler called Psycho, which Alfred Hitchcock turned into the classic 1960 film. In it, Norman Bates, the character based on Gein, says a boy's best friend is his mother. So again, just to give credit to the magazine, it is from Life, the World's Most Haunted Places, and it is the second story in this magazine. This magazine, I think I will be doing probably a video on every single story in this because it was just such a really good magazine. So going off of that, I did do a little bit of research myself on this story. I really didn't find anything. The magazine basically summed it up perfectly, but I did make a few little notes of other aspects that I found. Edward Gein was also known as the Butcher of Plainfield, as he was from Plainfield, Wisconsin. He is now known as a murderer and a body snatcher. Gein would exhume bodies from local graves and took trophies and keepsakes such as skin and bones. However, Gein only admitted to killing the 2 out of 11 women that were found in his house. In 1957, he was found unfit for trial and was sent to a mental health facility. In 1968, he was found guilty, but also legally insane for one of the murders that he admitted to, and so then he was transferred to a psychiatric institution. Several movies have been created based on this storyline, as well as a version of this being put into Bates Motel, which was a very popular TV show, and personally I really liked that TV show, and just reading about this story now after watching every single episode, really, you can see many similarities between the two. You guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This story is quite creepy to me. Not only because he was a necrophiliac, but also because he kept everything, and he made lampshades and everything like that, like a bowl made of skin or something like that. It was just, that stuff creeps me out so much. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it spooked you out a little bit. Oh my god. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it creeped you out a little bit. So yeah, I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.